There it go.
We here. It's the Almighty.
There it go. Episode
The
99, man.
Almighty.
Impromptu. Yo, you know how they say like cars subject to change? This is car subject to change.
It's us right now. Called subject to change, man. But we here though. You know what I'm saying? Episode 99.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Episode 99 tonight, since we missed the episode a couple of weeks back. And then we have episode number 100 coming up on Thursday, August 15th.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, man. What's your Saturday looking like? What's going on in your side of town?
Shit, man. Just got my hair braided. Just ran some errands tonight. Cool night. Frying some chicken right now. Catching up on some baseball. Shout out to the guy Paul Skeens, Pittsburgh Pirates right now, striking them out. Just trying to catch this Otani home run. Might catch collision in a bit. Feeling good though. You know what I'm saying? Got a nice cup full. That RSC cup.
There
Shout
you
out to
go.
everybody that got themselves one at WrestleMania weekend from us. We appreciate y'all. Y'all sipping up nicely. Much love. Much love.
Peace to BG Dub, man. I see them in like damn near every episode throwing them cups up, so that's love.
Cien Dog too. I see her. She repped it out. You know what I'm saying? She got the cup in the background of her joint too. So salute to y'all, man. Whether you showing it out or not, you still got an RSC cup you pouring up nicely. So it's all love, man.
Peace to Cien Dub. We gotta have her back on the show sometime soon, man.
We gotta start running our guests back.
You know
So
what makes sense? Like Ciendo, because they're about to go to. I was about to say UPN. Is it UPN? Picks,
stay UP.
picks. They about to
CW.
switch
Yeah.
CW,
CW.
CW. They about to switch network. So right after those first couple, because they got Punk for the first episode. They got who's on the second? Is it Randy Orton or something like that?
Yes, Randy Orton and CM Punk going to be guest starring for the CW debuts.
Word,
So that's going to be fun. I'm excited.
word.
This
Get
episode
my
99. You know what I'm saying? Getting the tweets off right now. Let everybody know. I'm sure they just hitting us like, yo, y'all live right now? Yes, in fact, we fucking are live right now, y'all.
impromptu. Told y'all, man. Car subject to change.
It's nice though. It's very rare to catch us on a Saturday night, but I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know who else is live on Saturday nights, but shit, we are. Salute to y'all that's checking us out right now on the lives, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, YouTube. We appreciate y'all. We here right now. This ain't gonna be too long of an episode. We just want to make sure that we just filled up the content. So we got to episode 100 next week. You know what I'm saying? Feeling good, feeling great. Um,
Yo, peace to I see Black Guy Pod right there. Peace to Low. Yo, dead ass, if y'all around, I'll shoot y'all the link, man. Come through.
come
Whatever's
through.
clever.
Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Come through, come
Whatever's
through.
clever. If y'all around, come through.
I'm fucking with it. I mean,
Matter of fact,
honestly,
I'm gonna tweet that out right now.
yeah, guest appearance. If you want to come pod with us, come pod with us right now. Let's shoot it up. Let's recap SmackDown if we want. I actually been talking. I said this was going to be an impromptu episode as well when we last spoke about it, but I also said this could be a throwback episode because I've been watching a lot of throwback shit. And
What you been watching? Let's get into
yo,
it.
I just got fucked up last night when I watched Taz versus Tajiri for the first time for the ECW title, and it wasn't even a main event. It wasn't even a factor because the main event was actually. Hold on, let me actually confirm the card that I watched. It was Taz versus Tajiri, ECW. ECW Heatwave 1999 is what I was watching.
ECW Heatwave 99. What was the
The
main
card was
event for that?
fucking fire, by the way.
Word?
Like shout the you know who like watching that card. I realized that I used to like play Roadkill on the ECW Hardcore Heaven or Anarchy Rules game. Whatever I had the ECW game. I used to be Roadkill, and I forgot that Roadkill existed until I rewatched ECW, and I was like, holy shit! There used to be an Amish guy wrestling because I remembered him from the video game. You know what I'm saying? So the main event wasn't Taz versus Tajiri. The main event was actually RVD and Jerry Lynn teaming up to take on Lance Storm and Just Incredible.
Yo, no lie. Lance Storm and Just Incredible, I think, were the Impact Players.
Yes, they were.
I think that was their team name, right? Impact
Now
Players.
they
Right?
were, and they were feuding with RVD and Jerry Lynn because RVD and Jerry Lynn were going back and forth so much that it got to a point where Bill Alfonso was like, "Yo, you can't team with anybody but Sabu." And RVD was like, "Yo, fuck you. I'm a team with Jerry Lynn." And because Impact Players were like, "Yo, after RVD broke your face and I drove you to the hospital, you owe me one. So lay down and let me get this TV title shot." Didn't happen. Still ended up smoking a boot. So now they're like, all right, yo, we're riding on Jerry Lynn. That match was actually fucking dope. And I didn't realize that, like, Taz and Tajiri put on such a banger that I was like, yo, dog, I wish I was in the era where I could watch Taz wrestle full time, yo. Like,
Yeah.
Like I'm sick that I grew up in that era post Taz. Like, I think the last time I watched Taz wrestle was the Invasion.
I think that like he stopped wrestling not too long after that.
Yes,
Because like by the time they got to like the SmackDown 6, wasn't he on commentary? Like
he was on commentary. Yes,
Yeah,
so
so that
like,
wasn't really that far after.
I was like going back and watching old Taz. I'm like, yo, dog, he was smoking shit.
I love Taz. I love Taz.
Smoking shit.
I might have said this before, but like if I was to do like a generational dream match, I would have loved to see Taz versus Low Key. Just for the intensity factor.
My man Caval.
Two Brooklyn guys.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then guys that, you know, they don't mind getting their shit in with, you know, stiff blows, suplexes, very heavy on the martial arts influence. Like, just to put generation versus generation, Taz versus Low Key would have been something.
I wish Low Key still had a run, my nigga. I can't front, yo. I wish Low Key still.
The only thing I really see of him now is like the odd House of Glory match now.
Yes,
because like he was with MLW for a little bit, and then he stopped. I haven't seen him there for a while, so I'm not even sure if he's like officially retired or not. But he's definitely not regularly active.
He's like who's a rapper that kind of faded off, that like was very popular, but didn't get all the way to the top of certain charts, but like was critically acclaimed. Maybe like Mickey Fax.
Good call.
Not a Mickey Fax guy, but low key kind of is like a Mickey Fax to me.
But like Mickey definitely had, he had that window where it was like
he could drink, my nigga.
Nah, but look, like Mickey had that window, blog era window, where it was like, oh, he could be the next guy.
Yes, I remember that. Two Dope Boys era like a motherfucker. I was there for that shit, so I remember times.
Two Dope Boys, now right? What was that? Remember the what was it? New Music Cartel.
New Music Cartel. You heard that new? Yes,
you heard that new.
Shit.
Two Dope Boys. I think Miss Info was a part of that. It was six. What was the West Coast joint? There was another West Coast joint. On Smash.
On Smash, Traps and Trunks. Like, damn, I missed that era, man. I missed that blog era like a motherfucker.
On Smash. Yo, Miss Info had a little bit to do with part of my Fresh Kind of Popping. I went to a
I remember times.
I went to the T.I. album release party for Paper Trail, and I remember I had a 8.3 megapixel Fujifilm camera, and I was just snapping pictures of the whole show. Jay-Z came through on the balcony, snapped pictures of Jay-Z, snapped pictures of, whoever came. I think Wayne might have come through. T.I. obviously was there. There were a couple of shots. Immediately that night, got home, put that on the blog, wrote up, who was there, what happened.
Viral.
I ain't even I sent it out, but then I emailed it straight to Miss Info, like the contact joint. And I woke up to an email from her saying, is it cool if I use this XYZ? She posted on her site and then linked back to PMF as the original source. Numbers double, tripled overnight, just like that.
Shout out to Miss Info, man. Legend in the game, yo.
For sure.
What else was I watching, man? I said ECW. I did WCW. I've been in my WCW bag. That Scott Steiner run is kind of where I've been. The last hoorah, essentially, is what it was. Scott Steiner versus Sid Vicious and Scott Steiner versus DDP. Because, again, that's where I started watching WCW. So, that's kind of where I came in the fold. So I rewatched
you know what? Here's a good ass question. I don't know if I ever asked you this shit because this is around the time that you started watching wrestling, right?
Yes.
How the fuck did you get into wrestling? Like, what was it that made you start watching WCW?
Let's see. My man's that I was in school with, we was playing video games at his crib. Crash Bandicoot, Crazy Taxi, mad random shit. He's like,
PlayStation 1, first joint.
It's like, yo, I got WWF No Mercy. You want to fuck with it? I was just like, I guess. And I tapped in, son. Seen Steve Blackman. It's just like, this guy's kind of cool. Kind of fucking with Steve Blackman. Yeah, random fact. I'm fucking with Steve Blackman as one of my first video game wrestlers that I ever played with. And I'm like, yo, this guy's kind of dope. He doesn't look like a wrestler, but you know what I'm saying? Kind of fire.
Man just looked like he just had those pants on and took his shirt off and said,
yes,
what up?
yes. And he's fucking shit up. So
like he's about to go mow the lawn real quick. Come back.
So from there, you know, and of course that was the era where we was like play wrestling, pause. So, you know what I'm saying? Niggas is just putting each other on walls of Jerichos and ankle locks and suplexes and shit, power bombs.
I fucked my neighbor up with a figure 4.
Yo, son.
Like legit.
The figure 4 was terrible. I couldn't get a figure 4 off. I was mostly a sharpshooter nigga. I was really going for the sharpshooter because I was so enamored. And only did I get older that I realized that like Rock sharpshooter was probably one of the worst sharpshooters I've ever seen in my life, and I understand why he caught flack for it. Like just a lazy sharpshooter. Like
I wouldn't say it's lazy. I think he's too tall. So like for him to actually squat damn near 300 pounds, like to hold that for a little bit of time is some work.
It's like he was just grabbing the ankle and then just like dragging you. Like it's all it kind of looked like. It was just like a drag around.
Yeah, but like yo, 6'5", 270 versus like Brett. I think Brett might have been 6 feet maybe.
Brett would sit on you. Pause. Like Brett was like, he's wrapping you up and then just locking it back. Like
yeah, but Brett, Rock would have murdered you. 300 pounds with a sharpshooter, fair. Like he's ripping something. Your hip is out of socket at that point.
Nah. That's a fact. So from there, I just jumped into the wrestling. WCW came about because I was just watching Nitro and I was watching Thunder. Honestly, caught it on TV. It was just like, yo, it's a Wednesday night. I don't gotta wait for Monday with Raw and Nitro. I can catch some shit on Wednesday too.
Right.
And that's when, you know, Scott Steiner was in the wave of his freaks with Medeja in them. You know what I'm saying?
Medeja George. That was Tori's debut. Tori Wilson started off as one of the
Wilson, Stacy Keebler. Dog, you had Kwee-Wee, Mad Random. You had the Jung Dragons. Shane Helms and 3 Count was going crazy. I was fucking with 3 Count because Shane Helms and the Vertebraker was nasty. Probably one of my favorite moves at the time.
Right.
Vertebraker was crazy. I didn't realize that, you know, DDP and them was kind of all getting phased out. Young nigga. I didn't realize what was going on behind the scenes. I was like, where's Kevin Nash? All I see is Scott Steiner just putting up like, Booker T's gone, Sting's gone, Goldberg's gone, this guy's gone. I'm like, who's here? Who's even left?
Right.
Come to realize it's like there was nobody left because they didn't build anybody up to even compete with Scott Steiner. As I got older, like in current time, I'm like, yo, there was nobody. As I'm looking back at these cards, I'm like, there's nobody left to compete for this world title against Scott Steiner. Like Sid Vicious tried, but boy, oh boy, did he fall short. Didn't realize that Sid Vicious broke his leg during this era. I forgot this was that time.
Did you ever see that clip?
Yo, I watched the match, and that was disgusting.
You saw it live?
I didn't see the match live. I think I did. I might have saw it live, but this, like the last 2 weeks, I've rewatched that whole era. So, like, I watched even the commentary. I did a YouTube deep dive. Niggas was like, yo, you seen Sid try this move once, so we're just like, yo, just try it again. Like, it'll make everyone pop. Like, this will work. So he did it, and nobody reacted. Like, nobody reacted. So I'm like, where was this, like, yo, this is going to be a big move if he tries this off the top rope? And then you see the crowd, it's like, there's no reaction here. You just broke your leg for literally nothing, for no pop, no excitement. And I don't think anyone even cared, which was the fucked up part, because they kept whooping his ass even more. Scott, Road Warrior Animal, they stomped him out, pinned him real quick, and then kept whooping his ass with his leg just. I'm like, yo, this company was in shambles. Like, holy shit. So yeah, that was my throwback, man. What throwbacks have you been watching so far?
What was the last thing I had? I honestly had a documentary. It was like not a documentary, but just like a collection of matches from the Hart Foundation. I had that on, like, kind of running in the background, and no match really. Because I was doing work while I had it on. But what stuck out to me the most is early Brett and Jim Neidhart wore blue and black. Like it took a little time.
Heavy Bret Hart bag, you know that, right?
Of course.
Like you fake Canadian. Like you
Nah,
might have.
I'm real Canadian, bro.
You could have actually been in the dungeon.
I'm real Canadian. Look, it's Tim Hortons coffee over here all day, bro. All day.
Like you legitimately could be in the Stu Hart's dungeon right
All
now
day.
on some like, yo, I'm out here shit.
Yeah, nah, it's heavy on the poutine, bro. Heavy on the poutine, eh? But like, yo, they started out. It was like blue and black tights. It took them a little bit of time for them to get into the pink and black. It looks super weird, dog. Like it's like black with blue stripes going down the side of the pants. There was no pink. And Brett had like mad short hair. Brett's hair was so wild short too. Yeah, it's a mind fuck to see Brett in something other than pink and black.
Again, this is that time right now, and y'all tuned in, y'all checking this out right now. This is the throwback episode, pseudo throwback episode, but yo, dog, this goes back to what we was talking about on Thursday. Like, yo, we've really been in like a old school era. You know what I'm saying? Just watching the old shit, watching the knowledge, doing the knowledge and the science and seeing where all this shit came from. Because I really had no idea about Steve Austin and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat having a hell of a feud, you know what I'm saying, in WCW era. You only hear about these things, folklore, but you never actually sit and watch it. And you're like, yo, Steve Austin's career, like Taz's career, outstanding. And I wish I was there for more of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, check this out, right? I just pulled up. This is off of tjrwrestling.net. And they have, like, this day in wrestling, right? So, today is August 10th. Let's run down a few of these. This is kind of interesting.
That's a good one.
1992, Vader beats Ricky Choshu to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. He held it for 374 days. What's interesting to me about this, specifically the name Ricky Choshu, last episode of the Signature Move, once I was doing my research, Ricky Choshu is the guy that invented the Scorpion Deathlock, which would become the Sharpshooter.
Wow. That's right? A YouTube story right there.
Yeah. It was called the Sasori Gatame is the name of the move, which
excellently
translates.
Enunciated.
I mean. It's called that translates to the Scorpion Hold, right? And then Sting used it next, which is why it's the Scorpion Deathlock. And then Brett was taught that move by Conan.
Yo, Conan the OG, man. Conan be having so much shit.
Conan got so many stories,
in
man.
The tunnel. That's why I believe in the shit he says. Like when he says some shit, you know, the internet community, the IWC will really be like, man, he's a bitter old nigga. But I'd be like, yo, Conan, like. I mean, Conan is one of those guys where you can really take Conan's word for shit. He's seen it. He's been in it. He knows what's going on. So it's like I don't look at Conan as like some of the bitter old nigga rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, Conan do be knowing his shit though. So like that's really unique you say that. Sidebar, I think we might have found another segment as we move into the hundreds. Today in wrestling. Yeah, I think this might be one of them. I think this might be a new segment.
Or if we, even this week.
This week or today in wrestling, this might have to be one of our new features that we do on our Thursday episodes for sure. I like that.
Check
today in wrestling.
Check this one out. So that was 92, 1996. The New World Order (NWO) was still new, right? NWO had just formed. Hogan, Hall, Nash. So we fast forward this day in wrestling, 96. Hog Wild, Hogan beats the Giant for that for the world title.
Bad
Outsiders, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, they beat Sting and Luger, or they faced Sting and Luger. But basically, like this is when Hogan won the title, his first title as the newly formed NWO leader.
You just sparked in my mind. I gotta actually sit through this era now. Like now, I gotta sit through this era. I've been jumping around eras, like so now I'm just like, all right, my next rendezvous down memory lane, I'm gonna go down. What happened when the NWO actually formed? Because to me, I think I skipped the first year of their formation. I think I just jumped right to 97, like the prime.
Yeah.
Like I kind of miss like
But
the
really, like the
actuality of what
prime
happens.
to me, like the
It's
prime.
98. I feel like it was 98.
I
The
say
high,
90. The reason I would say 96 is because this was before it got like really
out of
oversaturated
control.
with members
That's like when
of
I
the
was, yeah.
NWO.
That's kind
Yeah,
of when I was fucking with it, when it was just out of control. I was like,
because like the
Buff
first few,
Bagwell, Scott Steiner, everybody's here.
right? First few were like you obviously had Hall, then Nash, then Hogan. I think next might have been DiBiase, which made sense because it was still like the $1 million man gimmick, so to speak. So he was like the beneficiary. Like, where's the NWO getting funding from? Then I think the Giant, which was weird because it was like a get if you can't beat him, join him.
Situation.
Yeah, it was like if you
Yes.
can't beat him, join him type of vibe.
You know, his reign doesn't really count, right?
Who?
They don't really count his reign.
The Giant
Yeah, they don't count his reign. I don't think it really counts.
in WCW?
Yeah, I don't think his title reign really counted.
I never heard. I mean, he lost to Hogan. It got to count for something.
I think because it was reversed, it didn't count.
That's news to me.
Which was so strange. Yeah, I just found that out the other day, actually, doing my research. I was just like, his reign technically didn't count.
That's strange.
So, like, yeah, because the decision got reversed. So,
and then 6 X-Pac. Sean Waltman was the 6th member.
he was in 2 legendary factions.
Yo, he's and again, he's the guy that gave both of them the sauce. Like low key, but high key. If you heard anything that I've said in the past, he's the one that gave him the sauce. If anybody's throwing up that too sweet or doing the crotch chop, that's Sean Waltman.
Yes. That was.
And not to mention being a cruiserweight, doing shit that was not regular to be doing on television at that time.
That's a fact.
You know, go back to '93 when he had that
1, 2, 3 kid.
Yeah, man, like the Lightning Kid. He still had L Kid and lightning bolts on his trunk, so he wasn't even like fully the 1, 2, 3 kid yet.
It's just a kid.
You'll dig. Yeah, it was. You'll dig this. 2008. This day in wrestling history, Samoa Joe defeats Booker T in a steel cage weapons match to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at Hard Justice in Trenton, New Jersey. Do you remember the show?
This was an odd period because I was in and out of TNA at this time. I was completely out of WWE. So like once the name started to get out of control with TNA, like the OG started to come in here, like kind of the main event Mafia era, I kind of fizzled out a little bit. Like 08, 2010, I was out of here. I was just in high school living life, wilding, getting money, working, just it's cooling. But 2010 is when I really came back full time because I saw The Miz win the WWE title and I was like, what the fuck? Like that was trending on like Facebook.
Miz Zanin?
Yeah, I seen The Miz beat Randy Orton on Facebook and I was just like, wait a minute. What the fuck is going on here? Like The Miz, the WWE shit, like last I left The Miz, he was with John Morrison with a fucking top hat and some fucking baggy shorts, you know what I'm saying? Like just looking like a doofus. And he's the WWE champion. So it's like the equivalent to that nowadays would probably be somebody just tapping in for the first time in 2017 and seeing Jinder Mahal beat fucking Randy Orton and becoming WWE champion and being like, yo, that's the guy from 3-Man Band? Like, did he become WWE champion? Like, that's probably the equivalent to some of the new shit. So, yeah, that was a weird era. But Joe as like Samoa Joe and TNA was ideal. Like, this is a supreme killer, man. Like, holy shit. His TNA run got so fucked. Like, I'm talking like he's having a three-way with Matt Morgan and Crimson at Bound for Glory 2011. And I sat through that. I actually ordered that pay-per-view because I wanted to see Hulk Hogan fight Sting. And I was thoroughly disappointed. Like, thoroughly disappointed in that match. Sting, he, you know what I mean? He won, but he carried Hulk Hogan, which is crazy to say that Sting carried Hulk Hogan. But I shouldn't be surprised because Sting is the ultimate professional.
A ring general.
Yeah. And it validated, like, nah, Sting is one of the best ever. Like, because I watched that match in real time. I rewatched it recently. I'm like, nah, Sting needs all the praise, yo. Like, a killer. An absolute killer.
I have one more
Yeah, what else?
from 2019, but yo, today in wrestling is actually two birthdays: Savio Vega's birthday and Wade Barrett's birthday. But 2019,
Bad news, Barrett.
afraid I got some bad news. 2019, Adam Cole defeats Johnny Gargano 2 out of 3 falls match to retain the NXT Championship at NXT Takeover Toronto. Also, Shayna Baszler, Velveteen Dream, and the Street Profits all retained their NXT championships.
NXT Street
So
Profits
now,
was NXT champions, tag champs.
yeah,
Still,
tag champs.
they didn't make it
So
to the main roster yet.
2019, it might have been.
For
It had to
real?
have been like really right before. I gotta look at this card now.
Cause I'm like, wait a minute,
NXT
Street
Championship.
Profits.
This is NXT Takeover Toronto. When
No
did they
way.
actually go to the main roster?
Street Profits, I feel like were tag team champions in that era, though.
Unless
Of
they
Raw.
defended, maybe unless they defended the Raw titles or the SmackDown titles at NXT.
Don't kill us for not fact checking, y'all.
Yeah, look that card up. In the meantime, so that's NXT Takeover Toronto in 2019. So they said Adam Cole beat Johnny Gargano. Adam Cole's over in AEW now. Gargano's in the tag team DIY. On this list, Shayna Baszler has been killing it on those Bloodsport, man. It seemed like the last 2 or 3 Bloodsport events.
They loving Bloodsport. Everyone that does
Yeah.
Bloodsport's loving Bloodsport right now.
And Shayna Baszler's been on the last few.
We gotta go to a Bloodsport. The last one was in Brooklyn. I can't believe we didn't make it. I just saw the card and was like, what the fuck? Like, how did we not there? Because that card looked really good.
You know what's crazy? Like the Bloodsport that happened at Mania was like the first time I actually sat down and watched it. Like
Yes,
I'd seen
likewise.
just only clips.
Yes.
And I was like surprised that I enjoyed it that much. Like I don't know what I was expecting, but whatever I saw was like, yo, this is dope. This is actually really, really dope. So I definitely would tap in again.
I really like it. I really like Bloodsport. I think we'll make it more of an effort to go to the next one. It seems like they're local, so
Yeah, definitely make more of an effort to even just keep up with them. When they announce a show, I'll tap in.
I know they literally announced the show. I feel like the same day, and then it's
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
all
yo,
right, yo,
Impromptu, episode 99.
y'all want to pull up? Come to Bloodsport
Hey,
tonight.
we're
It's
gonna
like,
do
shit.
something over here real quick. So if you ain't doing anything, come
You in Queens, you know what I mean? Come pull up. Like, it's like, oh shit, I want
pop up shop pro wrestling
around the corner pro.
around the corner. Around the corner pro. Speaking of which, man, we were gonna do around the corner pro tees. Definitely gonna do them anyway. But we have some tees. I should tweet that link out. There's some tees right there on the site, man. We got the little the spring,
Bro.
you know, the tee spring joint.
Yes, go cop some RSC merch while y'all at it, man. You know what I'm saying? Show the support, show the allegiance to the gang. Much love to y'all tapped in on the internets and Twitter, on the YouTube. I see y'all checking us out, retweeting. Salute to Chaz, Black Guy Pod, the whole community. I'll be watching their show on Sundays as well, too. So I'm tapped in with the guys. Shit, man. Did you see SmackDown?
Did I see SmackDown? Was that yesterday? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Tribal Chief back in the building, man.
A pretty, okay episode. It was okay. Roman's return was obviously the highlight. I don't know why the episode just felt flat for some reason. I think because it's so much hype coming off of SummerSlam and everyone was so gassed for Raw that this SmackDown just felt like, it was here. So we have to get it over. I mean, it was going to do great numbers regardless of the Roman, but something just didn't give me that spark for this SmackDown for some reason. I'm usually pretty excited for SmackDown. But Roman's return was excellent. No Nia Jax, no Bayley. It's further showing you that Bayley's run was fucking toast. And nobody gave a fuck about Bayley's run because she got no mention, no nothing. Not a peep on SmackDown or Raw. She will be probably on deck next week for Nia Jax's celebration. The women's division on SmackDown is just really not exciting. But we'll start with the card. We'll go down the card since we got some time with it. Let's see. We started with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Just like I said, Kevin Owens is going to get his title shot. It was how we got there. It was going to be the question. He was very coy about it. He was just like, I don't deserve it. I don't really need a title shot. I haven't won anything. I like the fact that he acknowledged that he has not won shit to deserve a title shot. That was good. But Cody just kind of felt like he was asking him to prom. It's like, come on, Kevin, will you fight me at Bash in Berlin? You've got to fight me at Bash in Berlin. And I'm going to go tell Nick Aldis right now to make it happen. And then Nick Aldis just egging shit on. I'm going to give the title shot to Roman. And then it's like, no. No, fuck, you're not. I'm going to take the title shot.
You know something, like even before that, just continuously sunning Solo Sikoa and making it very, very clear and evident that
was great.
Yeah, you're not really the tribal chief. You're not really, world championship material. You're not.
Nor will you get another shot. Like,
yeah, you're not gonna get another shot. You already got beat. You couldn't beat me with your mans and your mans and your mans. Nah, bro. Back to the line you go.
If he would have said, if this was another era with another head person in charge, maybe. But not right now. This can't happen. Not under this regime.
Like the whole episode, like the top of the show and the end of the show is like just really letting Solo Sikoa know that you're not him, big dog.
Yeah. Like, Gorillas of Destiny being tag team champions, and I'll talk more about this as we go further into the show. Jacob Fatu, obviously, is going to be out of action for a while. How do you feel about it? Storyline-wise or not?
I mean, if it's story, I got to see where it goes. If it's legit, that sucks. Because
I think it's story. I love it.
If it's story, I don't really feel a way about it. Like I honestly thought that when we saw the bloodline come down towards did they come out twice with Cody? It was just once, just top of the show, right?
Top of the show.
They
came out after for the man.
Cody came out. He's talking. Kevin Owens, he leaves or whatever, or he comes out to make the save. What I thought was going to happen before Kevin Owens came out was the surprise attack from behind of the guy you thought was injured, Jacob Fatu. Like, I thought he was going to pop up. Like, nah,
really?
I'm not really hurt, and that was going to be the swerve.
Oh.
But, if he, again, my stance on this is this. If it's storyline, let's see how the story goes. Cool. If it's not storyline, sucks. Because, like, he's a guy that we were looking forward to being in WWE. And you see, for anybody that didn't necessarily know what Jacob Fatu was capable of, the small window and the short window of time since he's been there opened everybody's eyes. That guy is, like, one of one.
I think this is some of the best storytelling. Again, they're knocking it out the park and showing why they are the true number one. Not just a faction, but the company as well, too. How you, to your point, just make Jacob Fatu come in, dominate, smoke shit, kill shit, wreck shit, injure himself, and get pulled for X amount of time, just so he doesn't have to intervene with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. I don't think I've seen some shit like this, yo.
I mean, it's smart. It definitely protects Jacob Fatu from having to eat the L early against Roman.
And him versus Roman Reigns is money. That's just money.
Not only is it money, but it raises Jacob Fatu past Solo Sikoa in a very, very clear status way.
That's what we really want to see in ring. Like, realistically, a lot of people on the IWC want to see it. The common folk, the kids probably might want to see Roman and Solo. But us, I'm like, yo, Jacob, Roman, ASAP. ASAP.
But that's the thing. Like, Roman goes through the rest, like, Tama Tonga, get out of here. Tonga Loa, get out of here. They'll do the one-on-one, probably, on the PLE against
I think
Solo.
Bad Blood.
Yeah,
I think
they'll
we get
do
it
the
at Bad Blood.
And that might be around the time that we get the return of Jacob Fatu. The way he pops up.
That's good.
Maybe not even interference, just after the match to let you know, all right, that was cute. You know what I mean? I'm here now.
I think it's just so smart how you just pull the trap door on Jacob Fatu right now. Like, that's crazy.
It's
so
textbook.
Good.
Keep him strong, brother.
Yes,
strong,
I love it. I love it. The Street Profits defeated A-Town Down Under. I hope A-Town Down Under breaks up finally. I'm sure they're going to have their one-on-one match and a babyface push for Austin Theory, much to the excitement of nobody. I don't know. Street Profits, I don't think they'll win the tag titles at all. But here they are. They're getting a push. Sure. I think they should go to NXT, and I think they should be caught in that TNA NXT universe right now because them versus ABC is outstanding. So I don't know, man. It's kind of like Street Profits and the New Day are like parallel right now. How you feel about it? As far as like just like stale running on a hamster wheel.
I don't feel about it. Next segment, like, like the Street Profits. I think like that Bobby Lashley leaving WWE kind of threw them in a little bit of a weird place, but then again, they weren't really doing much when he was there. It was a lot of stop and start. Let's try stuff. They tried the more aggressive Street Profits for a little bit. They tried, Bobby Lashley trying to whip these guys into shape to be winners underneath his watch. They tried a couple of things. So I don't know. Like, talent is there. Let's see what they do.
Well, up next, we got Jade Cargill smoking Alba Fire in like 2 minutes. Yo, the women's tag team titles and the tag team champions. So let me just get this out there. I saw no point in taking the belts off of Coco Combat Club in what's the pay-per-view in Scotland? Clash?
Yeah.
Just because the hometown pop to get them to cry and be happy, I saw no purpose of this. Real talk. I was just like, you don't need to do this because they are so insignificant that it won't matter that they win the belts from them. And lo and behold, it feels like it's a matter of time before Jade and Bianca are 2 times women tag team champions. Because Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, they're not really doing anything. They're just here today. They're not cutting any promos. They're not making me feel threatened. Blair Davenport shows up and it's crickets again. More crickets with Blair Davenport. To me, she's like Timu Jamie Hayter, and I can't unsee it. And then Naomi shows up, and she fights her off. They've got a one-on-one match next week on SmackDown. And to me, like the women's division on SmackDown just seems so strange. Like it's just like, what's happening here? You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing exciting going on in the SmackDown women's division. And I don't want Jade and Bianca to split. It's crazy Bianca feels like an afterthought. But you got to elevate Jade somehow. Naomi's just here to be a good hand. And really the highlight is a non-title feud potentially looming between Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton, who are almost 2 of the same characters, but also very entertaining. What say you?
I mean, for starters, I like you was surprised that they took the titles off of Bella and Cargill in the first place. It was weird. It was a weird decision because it seemed like they just won the titles and were clicking.
Oh yeah, I mean? That part.
Like
that part too.
They had definitely just won the championships, and it's like, what are we doing? And it was like, I thought when I saw them lose the title, it was so confusing that I thought that they were actually hot-shotting the breakup.
Me too.
I thought they were just.
I think we all thought that.
I thought they were just pressing fast forward. Like, let's just get to it. It's like, whoa, what are we doing here? That was before SummerSlam. I thought they were gonna make this a SummerSlam match. Like now, like let's pump the brakes a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Like that alliance with Naomi and Jade and Bianca, we'll get some good trios matches out of that. Bianca and Cargill are definitely winning the titles back. And yeah, that's the bottom line. Like, I think this could be one of those like Charlotte situations where they're giving them reins to like pad their stats a little bit to make it seem like on paper they were more dominant than if you were watching in real time was the case, because there isn't a lot of competition for them. So if at the end of this we see 3-time tag team champions, 4-time tag team champions before they break
Mania
up,
is crazy.
I wouldn't really be all that surprised.
Insane, son.
I wouldn't be that surprised.
You know what I actually think could happen?
The most dominant women's tag team champion of the modern era. I mean, Michael Cole is going to run that, put that on the shirt,
Do you know what I was thinking? I said this in my Lord take after SummerSlam. I said Bayley and Naomi are going to team up. They'll be women's tag team champions for the 4th quarter. And Jade and Bianca will swap places, and they'll be the ones to start feuding with Nia Jax. They'll take turns fighting Nia Jax for the title because you got to freshen it up. You got to give Nia some more ops for her reign. You can't just have Bayley keep going back and forth. unless you're going to hot shot the title back to Bayley, and I just don't see that happening. So I kind of just see Jade and Nia is money in itself. I mean, I hear the critiques and I hear all the people already about to shit on that match. So, I know that's going to happen. But I think box office and spectacle-wise, Jade Cargill, Nia Jax, Behemoth, you know what I mean, Monster, like, I think that one is, that's a PLE right there. That's like day one type shit. That's not Survivor Series, but that's like day one. That's like Bad Blood almost.
That's Hogan slams Andre.
Yeah.
You booked that match for that moment.
Yes. That is, like I said, it's not a big four because Bianca and Nia is a big four, but Jade and Nia, that's the filler PLE where we're like, yo, could they? If it looks like it, man, and then that I think that's a good look. That'd be fun. Up next, LA Knight U.S. title celebration, as well as Santos Escobar versus Andrade for the number one contendership. I think this is a really good scene. The U.S. title scene is in great hands. You got Melo costing Andrade the match. Santos and Andrade had an actual hell of a match. They complement each other very well. It's not Dragon Lee. It's not Rey Mysterio. It's not mini luchadors. It's like brolic, believable wrestlers fighting. So I fuck with Andrade and Santos having a one-on-one match. You know what I'm saying? I think they're really good. I actually think that LA Knight and Santos is going to be amusing. Santos mocking LA was dope as shit. Santos.
Yeah,
C.
Escobar.
Escobar.
C.
Escobar. C. Like, I like that. I think they'll have a good feud for Berlin. And just watching that, I also found it amusing that I'm like, I was getting flack for saying there should be a Latin American division / Latin American championship. But it's just like, you got two Mexican wrestlers fighting for a U.S. title. I just find that very amusing. I can't be the only one that finds it amusing. They're fighting for a U.S. championship in Berlin. You know what I'm saying? I find that rather funny. It's just me. It's my humor. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind a Latin American title or a Latin American division. There's enough. It's enough talent. And speaking of, I seen Giovanni Vinci's having a promo, and I thought it was a new Mexican wrestler. I said, who is this guy? Who's this new Latin American wrestler coming in? And it's actually Giovanni Vinci getting repackaged as a rich Italian. So that was that. Will he make an impact? Probably not. Probably not, man. They should have never split Imperium up. I'm still sick about that. Still very sick they split Imperium up. But yeah, how you feel about the U.S. title scene right now?
Yo, LA Knight is the man. First of all, I like the new remix of his.
Didn't even notice it.
I noticed it before they said it because it had a much more of a bass line than the first version. And the drums were live. The synth had a little guitar. The guitar played that synth
I had to rewatch it, and then I was like, "Oh shit, they did change it." You're right.
Yeah, it was it's the same. It's the same actual composition. Yes. It's just a different take, a different session.
Yes.
But nah, LA Knight, man, LA Knight holding championship gold just looks correct. He's carried himself like a champ, and I love the fact that he's still himself. They're chanting, "You deserve it," and he's like, yeah, Logan Paul deserved to get his ass beat and lose his title. So he's not like playing sappy babyface after winning the title. Nothing about LA Knight has changed, which is good. Like, that's very Austin-esque to me, where when Austin won his first championship, he didn't come out and all of a sudden the boyhood dream came true and I want to tell everybody about. Right. What are we doing tonight? What up? I got this title. Who wants to get their ass beat? So like LA Knight just looks right. He feels right as a champ. Like you mentioned, Escobar versus Andrade was a hell of a match, and in a one-on-one match, I think Andrade would be the favorite. So for him to take the loss because of interference from Melo, that furthers their program. It keeps Andrade looking all right because he didn't lose fairly. And now we have Escobar again. We're starting to see more of Escobar's personality and his humor with the Escobar C. I thought that was,
that was funny,
right?
Very
and
funny.
We're gonna have LA Knight run through the entire, squad, Legado del Fantasma. There'll be a couple of TV matches out of that leading up to a PLE match, so that'll be solid. Get him some icy defenses. or even they shouldn't be title defenses, but they'll get the Intercontinental Champion wrestling on TV against the guy he's eventually going to beat in a defense. And then Melo and Andrade is going to be fire. Like once they actually do have some time on a PLE.
Best of 7 is on the way for them, I believe, because that's pretty much where we're at now.
That's going to be fire
before they become a tag team.
They can't be a tag. It'll be fire. So like all in all, like I think that that little scene right there, we got a couple of directions. I think
that's
solid.
A 4-way. That's a fatal 4-way for Bad Blood, damn near. Like that's a good fatal 4-way match. Like I like that.
Yeah.
But you figure Logan Paul's got to come back at some point and get his rematch. So I just
Logan Paul doesn't have to come back until the Rumble. To be honest, what is he gonna do? Logan Paul as the champion defended twice. You don't really miss him when he's not there, so you're not gonna miss him. And
I'm just very, very curious where Logan Paul lands when he comes back.
I think he lands back in a feud with LA Knight. I just don't see why would it happen anytime before? Maybe Survivor Series makes sense, but if it's not at Survivor Series where there's teams, but who's going to team up with Logan Paul, right? Then run it at the Rumble.
I think Bad Blood. Bad Blood is a themed pay-per-view because it's Bad Blood, so I feel like the blood feuds will peak at that pay-per-view before we move on to new shit. That's kind of where I'm like, I can't get invested in LA's next feud because I feel like Logan Paul is just looming somewhere, ready to bounce back soon. Could be. I think we do get Melo and Andrade at that actual pay-per-view in the final match of the best of 7. There are already 2 matches down. We've got a whole month and a half left, so we're going to get 4 more, at least 3 more matches over the next 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks of them. So I think that happens. LA Knight wearing the belt around his waist with a vest and a t-shirt and jeans is fucking awkward, and I don't want to see that shit again. He's got to just wear the belt over his shoulder, or Cody Rhodes it. Just him with that belt around his waist was kind of, it's like, this feels kind of strange. But it's also been so many years since I've watched LA Knight hold a championship, since at least TNA. So I'm still getting used to that image of him having a belt again. I don't count his $1 million title reign at all. I don't count any of those reigns. So next up, it was Ciampa and Johnny Sameface defeating Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly are awesome. I know it's niche, and some people don't really fuck with Pretty Deadly. I fuck with Pretty Deadly. I think they're really dope. They really won't have a chance to shine. I think they should go back to NXT. They were called up way too soon. NXT tag division desperately needs them, as I keep saying every week. I think them and the Street Profits should be in NXT/TNA's multiverse right now. Pretty Deadly and TNA would be awesome. They would thrive very well over there too. Now I'm going to go towards how I really felt about the tag titles with Guerrillas of Destiny. I don't think we need the tag team championships being around the Bloodline right now. I think it was too soon. Because, and we'll get to this again further on as the rest of the show goes on, they are a non-factor. And I think we spoke about this in Thursday's episode, but the tag division just fucking sucks across the board of all the companies, yo. Like, I hate it. I enjoy tag team wrestling, but I just what the fuck are we watching with these matches? It's a number 1 contenders match, and we know the inevitable results. Or do. Will DIY get the belts back? Shouldn't they just invoke the rematch clause? What was the point of this? A qualifier for a qualifier. Well, they could have just got a rematch, Because Austin Theory and Grayson Waller got a rematch like it was nothing. So, next up on SmackDown is DIY versus Street Profits. The real number 1 contender will be determined for Bash at Berlin against the Bloodline, Guerrillas of Destiny. And crazy enough, I hope the Bloodline lose the tag titles. What say you?
I could see this being like a shorter reign than maybe I thought when they first won the titles. Because I thought with Jacob Fatu there, I thought they were building the Bloodline up to look as dominant as possible.
As the original.
Not as the original, because they were never going to have the world championship in possession. But at least
dominant, though.
What I'm saying is I thought they were going to make them look as dominant as possible, knowing that Solo Sikoa wasn't going to beat Cody. So if you give that squad, they still have gold. You can still see Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga bust ass against whoever you put up against them. So there is still a threat there. So you have the threat of them deciding to interfere in matches and jump people backstage, but then they can also get it done in the ring. And anytime you see Jacob Fatu do anything, it's a highlight reel.
Yes.
So to build them up in that sense, even if as the tag team champions, when Roman Reigns comes back, he starts running through them one-on-one matches, those are one-on-one matches, not tag team matches. So they still would have something to hold on to. With that being said, a lot of this to me has to do with whether or not Jacob Fatu is indeed hurt. Right? Let's, if we play it out to where this isn't storyline, but he is injured, then titles are going bye-bye, because you're not going to see Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga defend those titles, because Tonga Loa is like straight comedy anytime he's on television. So then I could see it going to Street Profits or DIY, regardless of who wins that match. You know what I mean? And it was actually surprising that DIY won the titles in the first place. So when they did have it, it was like, damn, they already lost it. So
they had it for a cup of coffee. Yo.
Right. So it seems like that isn't really done now, right? That experiment of, let's see DIY in championship positions on the main roster. We know what they did in NXT. We know what their relationship is with Triple H. That seems to me that reign was too short for that just to be it. You know what I mean? So I can see them, let's say if they beat the Street Profits, maybe DIY does beat the Bloodline, when they actually do have that tag match. So I don't know. It really depends, right? Because if Jacob Fatu is in that match, if they freebird it and Jacob Fatu isn't in the match, they lose. If Jacob Fatu is in that match, he's not losing at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jacob Fatu is not losing at all. If he's part of the team, he's definitely not taking the pin. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Like
Tonga or Toa. Who's the slow one?
Tonga Loa is the one that's rocking the eye patch right now.
Yes, eye patch is taking a pinfall if they have to defend the
But that's if he's in the match. If Jacob Fatu is in the match, then it's him and Tama Tonga. Because why would you free bird and put Tonga Loa in if the other two guys are healthy?
He's liability with an eye patch.
You know what I mean? Unless they do that on purpose to show, like, he really is the weak link. But I don't know. I'm
going to pivot from here. I'm going to take it to the current Bobby Lashley interview that just dropped, where he was talking about how Triple H has certain guys and he prefer the Vince McMahon booking as opposed to the Triple H booking. Watching DIY win on SmackDown and then potentially beat the Street Profits, I really will wholeheartedly believe what Bobby Lashley says about, like, yo, he's got his guys and it's just the way it's going to go. And I'm not excited about that. I'm not thrilled about it. I see it. I totally see it. Like, if Street Profits have to lose again, so Ciampa and Sameface could win another number one contenders match to have another PLE, well, can't say another because they never get a PLE show, but to have a PLE match for tag titles, it's like, yo, dog, come on, man. Y'all gonna put the Street Profits down the ladder again? Again? When are the Street Profits gonna shine, my nigga? When? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, I'm frustrated at that. As a fan of the Street Profits, like, if they don't beat DIY for this number one contenders match, they're cooked. They're fucking cooked, yo. They might as well go to TNA. Like, they might as well get served up and go to TNA next, yo. Or go back to NXT, or campaign to go back to NXT/TNA, because their ceiling on SmackDown is like right here below this box at this point. You know what I'm saying? If DIY win again, they could win. Street Profits could win, and I hope they win, because that'd be dope. Because then I would believe that they could beat the Bloodline and become the tag team champions. So that's kind of where I see it. So I don't know if you caught the Bobby Lashley interview, but yeah, he basically just said that Triple H got his guys, and you can see it in all of the booking across Raw and SmackDown that he's got his guys: Bronson Reed, Wyatt Six, DIY, the women's division. Like, he's got his NXT people, and he's going to put them in position. If you were part of the old regime, Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, those guys, if you were around during the pandemic, you're kind of getting fizzled out right now. You're just hoping to sink or swim. So, kind of just noticed that. That's just kind of had me a little peeved, that's all. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much DIY. That's all, man. Too much DIY, not enough street profits. Street Profits been holding it down. They need some type of tag title reign, dog. They haven't had a tag title reign, my nigga, in almost 3 years, bro. 4 years, my nigga. It's been since before the pandemic, bro. Niggas ain't had no gold. None. I'm not happy about that. So we go to the main event. Sol Sikoa said if Roman Reigns wants his tribal beat back, he's got to come out and get them. Reigns came out. And OTC, the original tribal chief, is the new chant. OTC, OTC. I love it. He destroyed Tama Tonga, Toa Lioa, beat them all up, smoked their boots, barely touched Solo. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. You know, we're going to get to that when we get there. Roman looked jacked, yo. He looked jacked. It's crazy to see him in his babyface role now. It's even stranger to see him without a title. It's just so odd to see him without a belt now. Yeah. But he did a great job. Great return. I never felt threatened. I never felt like I never felt Jacob Fatu was going to pop up. I never felt Roman was in danger. The 3 ooh-ahs in a row. Awesome. Shit, even watching the segment, I realized, like, yo, his moveset, like, I know I clown Jey Uso for his moveset, but I'm like, Roman's moveset ain't that fucking good either. It's just execution. He's got a punch and a spear. Let's be real. It's a punch and a spear.
But I mean, like, the reality is, like, there's a lot of wrestlers, a lot of veterans that say, go and get you 5-6 moves that the crowd knows are coming and run those.
Yes.
If it works, it works.
And that's why I'm like, it's the execution. It's what he puts into it.
I don't need Roman Reigns trying to do a Hurricane Rana. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't.
Oh man, yeah. Besides the Superman punch and the spear, I think Roman got the best of the bloodline for now. A couple things I'm gonna take away from it before I pass it over to you. Back on our tag title convo, I don't like that the tag team champions are getting smoked by Roman Reigns with ease. They just won the belts and they can't beat one guy. Now they're about to come through and fight 2 guys, and they are supposed to beat them. I kind of just want a little bit of like idiot proof of my wrestling sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really like that. I don't like the tag division getting smoked like this. 2, I don't know if you peeped, but I know I saw it live, but it was reiterated on Twitter. I watched the clips back. Tama Tonga looking at the Hula Fala. So as he went to go pick it up, he kind of was in a trance for a second. That shit is like the Mask. You know what I'm saying? Like from Jim Carrey's movie, nigga. That shit is, niggas touch that shit, they just be like, oh, shit. So he touched it and he just like stopped for a second. And I caught it live and I was just like, he's kind of looking at this shit. And he just like, oh yeah, Solo, here you go. So that could be a little red herring down the line. And 2, that Hula Fala, who gave it to Solo Sikoa? How'd he get his hands on that?
I was wondering that too.
And I'll pass it off to you.
Nah, like I was wondering that when he popped up with it in the first place. Like, were you just at Roman's crib and put that in your bag? Like, how did you actually get the Hula Fala? How is it out of, like, Paul Heyman, you would assume, would be the guy that if Roman doesn't have it, Paul Heyman has it. But we saw Paul Heyman get jumped. So was there something that happened off camera between Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns that maybe Paul Heyman decided to go with the new hot hand and then it went left once he started adding other people in? You know, like was Paul Heyman like kind of trying to play both sides? Is that a storyline? Or like did Solo just rob Roman Reigns? Like literally, how did he just go with his gym bag? Like how did he get it?
This went over all of our heads in the moment.
No, it really didn't. It didn't go over mine because, like, when he popped up with it,
I didn't think about it. Crazy no, I didn't. I was just like,
when he popped up with it, I'm like, how did that happen, bro? But I mean, anyway, like Roman Reigns, by the way, like assaulting the tag champs doesn't really bother me too much because, again, these guys are just glorified goons. You know, none of these guys are in the hierarchy of WWE elite enough to run with Roman Reigns, except for Jacob Fatu, who wasn't there. And Jacob Fatu is not proven yet in WWE as far as being a guy that could run in the main event with a Roman Reigns. Like, we see the ability and we know what he can do, but in storyline, as violent as he is and explosive as he is, he hasn't proven himself yet. But he wasn't even there. We're seeing two guys that are just two guys to stand in front of Solo Sikoa when he says go that way. So tag team titles or not, that's Roman Reigns coming back, 400-day champ.
I get you, but it's like, dog, they the tag team champions, my nigga. They should be putting up more of a fight than this.
I don't want nobody. If Roman Reigns comes out his first SmackDown since WrestleMania season, even if you lay a hand on him, it doesn't matter. Like,
I knew they was gonna get their boot smoke. I knew they was gonna get their boot smoke, but
like, they're not supposed to get moves off at all against Roman Reigns. That shit ain't happening.
But they just won the tag titles. Don't put the tag titles on them. Like, that's just my shit. That's why I hate where the tag division is at right now. It's like, don't put the tag titles on the jobbers, on the job squad of the group. That's my shit. Like, which is why I feel like it had to have been calculated with this Jacob Fatu injury. Like, this had to have been the case. Because none of this was going to happen with Jacob Fatu around. None of this. This was not happening with Jacob Fatu on deck, yo. Jacob Fatu wasn't getting his ass whooped like this by Roman. And if it was, you know the IWC would have been in a fucking uproar. For as much as they love Roman, niggas would be like, nah, nigga. Niggas is burying Jacob Fatu.
Just because I think that there's money in that match. Like, when they do go one-on-one, he's taking the L, but I think that needs to be a match at a PLE.
Get there. He's got to get
there. Yeah. And he's going to shine. You know, like, I see him, but we know how that match is going to go. Like, Jacob Fatu is going to get his shit off for the vast majority, and, you know, Superman punch spear.
Ooh, ah.
Ooh, wah. Ooh, wah, man. But that's how I feel, man. Like, it's, you know, it's good to see Roman Reigns back. He looks rested. Yes. He looks healthy. He looks fresh. You know, and
he's got two more appearances on deck scheduled.
Yeah, we're gonna get
next week in September. So he won't be at Berlin, tentatively. There's no pay-per-view in September, and then we've got Bad Blood. So I think Bad Blood, October 5th in Atlanta, is where we see Solo versus Roman. So I think that'd be pretty dope, honestly.
And don't forget, man, at some point we're gonna get Jay and Sammy.
Yeah, fuck the draft, right? AO voice.
They're gonna find their way back over to SmackDown because they gotta run that 4-on-4, 5-on-5, whatever the math is. They gotta run that. So
you know, this is all leading up to Roman and Rock, though, which is pretty good.
100%.
That's
man. Listen, from jump. I mean, now think about it. We were just talking about how did homie get the Ulafala.
Yes.
I said, however many months ago, what if the entire time the elders was really just the elder, The Rock, that sent Solo Sikoa in the first place, right? What if it was The Rock that's been calling the Tongan guys, Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga the whole time? What if it was The Rock that called Jacob Fatu? Anybody else that comes in? What if it was The Rock that gave the order to get rid of Paul Heyman? You know, what if Paul Heyman thought it was all good because he talked to The Rock, but The Rock gave a different order after he got off the phone with Paul Heyman?
Do you know, it's crazy that, like, everybody's talking about this Roman Solo shit, and even when Heyman last year said we're only in the third inning, I think we're only in maybe the bottom of the fifth,
which is fine because like the whole thing was like, to me, like, let the storyline go however it's gonna go. The family's gonna infight and they're gonna do that. It was just really the world title. Like, we need to do something else with this world championship.
Get this off this guy, yo, because we can't keep doing this.
We're getting in, all right, 500 days, cool. All right, he breaks this guy's record, great, wonderful. You know what I mean? But now that we're here, I think, like, The Rock is the elder. The Rock is the guy.
Yes,
right?
Rock and Roman is where we get
there is a split with Roman Reigns and The Rock. And somehow The Rock, it makes sense that The Rock was there at WrestleMania, right? So Roman comes out with the Ulafala and blah, blah, blah. But whoever brings it to the back, Rock eyes it and, get that shit to me.
the backstory of that's gonna be so nasty.
Yeah.
Like,
And then like
Brock,
just think about how to who reveals all of this also. Like Roman Reigns, might at some point as we get closer to at least Rumble season, start throwing out a couple of lines and hints like everything really ain't all good with me and homie. He's over here. Think about this. Roman Reigns, when he was outside the ring before they went off the air, was talking shit to Cody like, yo, that belt is mine. It's coming back where it
yes,
belongs, which means he still wants that title. But the last time we saw The Rock made it clear that you and me, we have unfinished business. And
I
he's
pinned
eyeballing.
you, and I don't really care about this. Like, I'm the people's champion.
Right.
I
And
don't really. What the fuck is this belt, man? I want that
yeah,
one.
he's eyeballing that
Let me
title.
hold this
So
belt. Let me
think
hold it,
about
Cody. Let me
think
hold it.
about how Roman Reigns might feel about your fam. What you mean you want the title? What the fuck? That's my title. Like, what do you mean you want the title? What do you mean you got unfinished business with him? I got unfinished business. They might fight each other over who gets to fight Cody.
I'm so glad Cody didn't save Roman last night. If there's anything I am happy about, which is the whole segment for the most part, I am glad that Cody didn't make a save. The crowd was chanting for him. So I'm glad he didn't pop out. He didn't do anything. Keep them apart and don't make them allies until it is absolutely necessary. Damn near war games,
I was
which is
about to
what
say,
they should be.
it's gonna be if they do it, it should be War Games. When we get Jay back over and we get Sammy back over, you'll get that 4, which like with the entire history that went on, that puts the bloodline, the current version of the bloodline, over because look at who decided to come together to get rid of these guys. Like how big of a threat are you that Roman Reigns and Cody and Sami Zayn and Jey Uso decided to be on a team together?
Solo, Jacob, Gorillas of Destiny.
Just do 4-on-4.
It's only 4-on-4. Or is it 5-on-5?
Just do 4-on-4. Fuck it.
Change
Why we gotta do 5? Like, just do 4-on-4.
I guess I'll say that's when
Shorten that
Hikuleo
long
debuts.
ass match, man.
Hikuleo debuts at this point now. That's when I feel like it's coming.
Yeah, it could be Hikuleo. So then who would be on Roman's side?
Roman,
Cody,
Jay,
Jimmy,
Jimmy,
and Sammy.
and Sammy.
Yeah, it's the Usos, Roman, the original bloodline, and then Sammy.
You're right.
There you go.
I fuck with that.
Run it. Yeah, man. It's 99.
Also, real quick before we wrap up, I want to call back to this Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes shit. Randy Orton is going to turn eventually. It ain't happening. It ain't happening soon.
100%.
But I watching that segment last night. I didn't mention this when I first ran it over tonight. But Orton's definitely going to be like, yo, what the fuck, man? You gave Owens a title shot before me, and I'm your OG. I've been staring at this belt this whole time.
I mean, and not for nothing, like Orton doing his thing over on Raw, but like Orton is a snake, right? Orton is the guy that you really shouldn't trust, and I think they've played up, whether it be subtly or not, they've played up the long history and relationship between Cody and Randy.
Like
by what they've said, like Cody's like, yo, this is my brother, this is my
brother.
family. You know what I mean? So they're playing it up. There's like little hints. You see Randy staring at the title here and there, but they're playing up the fact that we have all this history and we came up and this is my guy. If there's one guy in the world and blah, 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 boom, RKO out of nowhere. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Randy brings the punt back. Last time we saw him punt somebody was Ric Flair, I think.
So you know what it is for me, yo? We just talked about War Games. Now we're talking about when Randy's going to turn. Such great storytelling, great work on the WWE's behalf right now. But when can all this even transpire, yo? How can all this transpire? There's still so much time between now and Mania. But there ain't that much time once we get to Survivor Series. Because Randy and Cody, to me, isn't just filler. It's not Elimination Chamber one-off. You know what I'm saying? It's not day one PLE one-off. Royal Rumble maybe, but like I just don't think that's like all right, y'all, we give you Randy Cody one time and that's it. Like I feel like that is damn near what Cody and AJ Styles should have been. Could be. Like that should be multiple PLEs, damn near ending with Randy actually doing what you said and beating Cody, to much to our surprise. Even if it's a flip the title back and forth hot potato, but I just don't know where Randy turning fits into anything that's going on right now. If we're talking what we just said and it could be accurate, which is a very good thing. Again, very great things that are transpiring, good problems. But I just don't know where Randy turning fits in right now with Cody being a lot of his bloodline shit. It's really, really strange. Really strange to me, yo. I can't call it. I can't predict it. I really can't predict this shit at all.
That being said, 99,
Hey,
100 coming up on Thursday for the good Sir Blaine Boogie, the good guy Chad Law. My name is A.O.